Hello everybody, my name's Jane McClaren and I'm the Clinical Manager of the Vida Therapy Service for Women and Girls. Over the next few weeks I'm going to be posting some short videos, one to stay in touch with you all, but also to offer some helpful strategies and tools to try and cope with this very strange time that we find ourselves in at the moment. So today's short video is going to be focused on worrying. So I'm going to look at what is worrying, is it helpful, and 3, how do I cope with it? Okay, so firstly, what is worrying? Well, worrying is something that we do, and we'll be doing a whole lot of it at the moment, but it is certainly a fear about something bad happening in the future, something that we catastrophize about, something that we might find ourselves thinking, what if I get ill? What if we don't come out of this for a long, long time? What if somebody close to me gets ill? What if? So again, it is a fear about something bad happening in the future, something that we are imagining will happen. We might find ourselves planning for every single eventuality that we are catastrophizing about. It generates fear. So fear is that anxiety that you then find happening in the body, so that adrenaline pumping around the body. So we think about something and it drives that fear and therefore that anxiety. We might then find ourselves completely stuck in that process of worrying about something that might happen in the future, finding ourselves full of anxiety and then just getting stuck in that state and probably finding ourselves worrying a whole lot more. Secondly, is it helpful then for us to worry? Well, think about it. If we are spending minutes, hours, days even, thinking about the future and imagining, catastrophizing about what might happen, and then maybe planning for all of those eventualities, adrenaline, anxiety filling that body and being stuck in that process, we then end up doing nothing but more worrying. That isn't helpful. What might be helpful about worrying is looking at it in a different way. So that brings me on to, okay, how do I cope with this thing that we do called worrying, catastrophizing about future events that maybe I have no control over? The first and most important thing to do is to notice that we're doing it. Catch yourself in that process of imagining, catastrophizing about future what ifs. Call it out for what it is. There I go again, look at me, I'm worrying. Secondly then, take a breath and refocus your attention to the here and the now. And then do something. Do something physical in the here and the now that brings your attention away from a future catastrophe into the here and the now. Do something meaningful. Do something mundane, but with present awareness. For example, washing up. Not my favourite activity, but if I choose to wash up, I might choose to do it really mindfully in the present. So thinking through how it feels when I'm washing up, the soap suds, the temperature of the water, the smell of the soap suds, the satisfaction of cleaning those plates and stacking them up. I might choose to do something a little bit more meaningful. So I might choose to focus on gardening, for example, or walking the dogs. Anything that takes my attention away from my imagination and catastrophizing to something in the here and the now. I can also remind myself that I'm here. What is it? April or something? 2020, and the sun is shining. So let's just recap on that for a moment. What is worry? It is a fear of something bad happening in the future, something we're imagining, something we're catastrophizing about. Is it helpful? Well, certainly not if I find myself in a cycle of fear, anxiety, and then doing nothing but thinking about those catastrophes. That's not helpful. It takes me away from the here and the now. So how do we cope with it? Well, there's one answer. Notice that you're doing it. Call it out. There I am again. That's me worrying and catastrophizing. And then switch, refocus my attention on the here and the now. And then get doing something in the here and the now. Don't worry, our mind will go off and start pulling you into catastrophizing, hooking you into those thoughts about the future. Recognize it, take a breath, bring your attention back. It's a little bit like taking your attention to the brain gym. You might go and physically work the body out to get stronger. Well, now we're working out our mind, our attention. What can we control? We can control where we place our attention. Is it in the future and catastrophizing? Or is it in the here and the now, doing something meaningful to me in the here and the now? Finally, if we must worry, then we could try a strategy that we call worry time. So, notice that you're worrying, call it out, and then give yourself a specific time each day when you are going to sit down with paper and pen and write out what you've been worrying about that day for about 10 minutes. Do this regularly over a period of time. Maybe after a few days, look back on those worries and you might see a pattern emerging. You might see that the worries that you are looking at fit into two camps. One is those catastrophes, those things I am imagining will happen, those hypothetical situations that I have no control over. And then you might notice that some of them are things that we can do something about in the here and the now. So for example, if I find myself worrying about catching coronavirus, it's all around us at the moment. Every time I switch on the news, that's all I'm hearing about. So I might find myself worrying about that. Can I do something about that in the here and the now? Well, yes, I can. I can follow government advice. I can social distance. I can decide to look after my health a little bit more. Think about what I'm eating. Maybe think about exercise a little bit more. Maybe think about where I'm placing my attention and do some kind of emotional and mental health exercises to help me manage the present moment. Okay, so let's just finally, before I leave you today, think over those steps. What is it? It's a fear about the future. Is it helpful? Possibly not. What can I do about it? Notice it, call it out, refocus attention into the here and the now, do something meaningful in the here and the now. And finally, if we have to worry, then give ourselves a specific time each day. Write out those worries for about 10 minutes. That will give us exposure to those worries if we do it over and over again. And we might notice that they fit into two camps. Things in the future I have no control over, things I can do something about. And if it's something I can do something about, then do it. Commit to doing something about it. Okay then, and I hope that's helpful. I'm sure you probably got questions and other topics that you might want to have some strategies and tools to manage, so please feel free to post questions, email us with any queries or questions or topics that you might want a short video on. It's been lovely to keep in touch with you today and hopefully see you all again very soon. Goodbye.